at 6:30. I don't know, are we recording this?
Yes.
I believe so.
Okay, so this,
Yes.
hello?
See, we're on there.
Yep. This meeting, as always, is being broadcast live and digitally recorded, so please know that. And is there anyone here for open session? No? All right, Brian, want to take us to the agenda?
Sure, we have, I've given my first pass at, and admittedly, it's a little rough around the edges, but it's.
No, thanks for
it's
putting
the
it together
first
so
day.
quick.
So, yeah, it was a little bit of work to find the appropriate. So, I think we've covered the topics that we know of. Now we need to just, work a little bit more on the language. And then we'll send it off to council, and he'll come back with a blessed version. I did make one change in the planning board. I did try to consolidate all the changes to section 5 in one article, because you had 3 or 4 that you had as separate articles, and I did them all as one. Okay, so, and I didn't think there was any interlocking problem. In other words, that one would cause the defeat of the entire. It didn't seem like anything there was so critical that it would cause that. So,
well, the only thing would be to check with town council whether you can changes in different sections.
You can.
In one, you can. See, we don't.
oh yeah,
town
no,
council
I'm
can.
pretty sure you could, or I don't think I would have tried that. I'm short some wording on Article 6. You said that.
Can we back up just for, no problem. If we can just go in order?
One by one.
One by one, we'll start
Okay, the
Article
first
1.
one, the only thing we're short here is the dollars. That wording is the exact same wording
Yeah.
that we've used in the past.
Yep.
So as soon as we don't know exactly how we're gonna handle the money, we're not sure if we have the opportunity to wait for the bid or we have to move ahead of it, in which case the number might be set higher and you can amend it lower on the floor. Number 2 is the match for the Complete Streets grant.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a quick little update on
Okay,
this.
go ahead.
So, I met with, last Thursday afternoon, I met with the principal from TEC, Mike Myers, who we've been working with for the last year or whatever, on the town center reconstruction. In parallel, as you know, we've been doing the Complete Streets program, okay? So the grant for the proposed grant from the TIP program for the town center reconstruction is separate from the $400,000 Complete Streets funding source that towns go after. So we had, and even when Rand was here, we had gone through Tier 1, we had gone through Tier 2, and we were in the midst of Tier 3, which Tier 1 was basically just joining the system. Tier 2 was coming up with 20 projects. I might have showed that, just 20 projects in town that have to do with complete streets, sidewalks, striping, anything you can think of. You got to come up with 20, and then Tier 3 is pick the ones you want to go after the grant with. So the 2 of them are, what we're trying to do too is reduce the overall town center reconstruction costs, because that makes our project look better and bump up in the queue because it's less money. So if we can peel away 400,000, and without being clunky, I know I think I've talked about this before, but the 2 areas that would add up to that are a new sidewalk from the rec field to High Street, and a new sidewalk reconstructing the one from Elm Street down past the school to where the existing one is. So it would be those 2, and our engineers, as part of the Tier 3 submission, which is due October 1st, I'll go into why this is something that we're suggesting, is due on October 1st, and it includes, they have to do a historic evaluation of anything on the road, so the church had to be evaluated and what impacts it may have there. There's another house somewhere that needed evaluations. So there's that, then there's cost estimates, and then there's a few other things that go as part of the submission package for Tier 3, which TEC is going to do on their own. They have sort of our login information to the Complete Streets website and all that. And they've done it a million times in the past, and that the award is $400,000. And he thinks we have a pretty good chance. It won't be awarded for 6 to 8 weeks, so call it 12-1. So if it goes in 10-1 and it gets awarded 12-1, if we wait till 6/8/2018 to do the design, or to ask for money for the design, the money has to be expended by the end of next year, and there just may not be enough time to design it and then construct it. Okay? So that's what I talked to Brian about potentially, and later Thursday night, we had a town center committee meeting where we voted unanimously to come to the board tonight to say, hey, what do you think about doing this? So similarly to the $75,000 that we transferred at annual town meeting for the town center reconstruction, it would cost us $60,000 to design, because the $400,000 doesn't include design. So the $400,000 is just the construction. So 15% of that amount of money is what the design would be for the reconstruction of it. And so the idea was to present it here to see whether or not that there was energy for basically doing the same transfer we did last time, which was, you know, the stabilization number up there, pulling that $60,000 out of there, and you know, seeing if the town wants to vote on it. So my 2 cents, which I know that was already 2 cents, but 2 more cents is, you know, I hate to be defeatist, but it's unlikely we're ever going to be, you know, having a stabilization or capital stabilization that's funding multi-million-dollar projects, like a lot of other towns do. They build their own fire stations, they build their own sort of stuff from this. But just based on what we know about our revenue situation, and Michael sort of worded it the right way, a way I understood it during the last time we transferred the $75,000 for the town center reconstruction was, you know, that's our savings account. You know, we're not gutting it, we're not, you know, taking 25% of it, anything like that, but we sort of need to spend money to make money, specifically with our hamstrung revenue situation. So if we have the possibility of getting $400,000 to really kickstart, you know, a potential town center reconstruction, you know, then I think, I don't know, I think it's a good idea, but wanted to see what you guys think.
No, it sounds like a plan to me. It is contingent if we don't get the grant.
Correct.
Then it's
No money
void.
transfers, no money goes over, there's no other rider or kicker or whatever in there. It's just, it gives us the ability to, if we get the grant, to authorize the design so that over the winter, the job can get designed and we can reconstruct it in the spring, summer.
So you don't spend the money unless you get the grant.
Correct.
Yeah.
No brainer there.
Right. Correct. But the grant money you can't use to pay yourself back either. You know, this is still money that's ours, that we're going to be seeing going away for a design, but it's, you know, sort of
An
a
application.
And the grant is awarded December-ish?
Yep. 6 to 8 weeks, which would bring us to mid-November,
Before
December
you have
1st.
an opportunity to spend any money.
Correct. So another option, I guess, because we're flushing them all out here, is we could have another town meeting, theoretically. If we find out we got the award, we could go to town meeting again, which is several $1,000s and all that, in January or February on that one issue, and then any other the planning board adds. And then vote for it there. And then, so that would, you know, the money would already be in place and we could have that sort of level of comfort. But it's almost like 6 and 1, half dozen, because we
No,
can't spend it
this is more
anyway.
efficient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seems to be.
Not only more efficient, your grant looks better if you have this in place. It's,
Oh.
it's exactly what happened when we filed for that $1 million grant in my first go around.
Oh.
It was because we had put money into the pot that they moved that grant up the list of it. So
Okay.
it's smart to do this. And again, there's no risk. If you don't get the grant, you don't spend the money.
I think it's a great idea, and I'd like to see the downtown get a little facelift, put some money back into the town.
I think this puts momentum into the project too, right? So not only does it benefit us by reducing the overall amount that we're getting, you know, requesting for a grant, you start seeing stuff happen. It's, you know, and I think a couple of important things happen over by the school, and then that sort of dangerous corridor there.
The
That
rec field.
Yeah.
Is a great idea.
So anyway, and just so the TEC, in doing this, TEC would be working with Mass DOT to make sure that because we're going to get Route 68 paved eventually too as part of a separate contract. So they're making sure that that the new design for the sidewalk aligns with the already designed road thing and curbing and how that all tie in. So it's all doable, and you know, it's
So potentially within the next 4 or 5 years, from the Rutland line to Gardner, could it
the whole thing,
be all redone?
right?
Nice to have the continuity, we know, from one project to the next to the next.
And that'll be at the tune of $12.5 million, which is a lot
Yeah,
of not our money.
the state.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that help, Brian, the grant that they applied for the main by Route 68 too? When they applied for the grant to do the town center,
That's a good point.
that would look like we're doing something else as well.
Right, and
Exactly,
we actually have a project number in the tip, you know, that's got all the details on it and all that, so that maybe that's something that maybe there's something else that they can submit with it. It's a good idea. All right, so I don't know, Brian, what?
Okay, so let me just continue, and then you can vote on the entire package. We have a request to change the Hubbardston 250th Anniversary Fund name to the Hubbardston Special Events revolving account, and so we're changing the name and transferring the assets. Again, the planning board articles, the first one was a consolidation of a couple of articles that they had submitted into one because they all dealt with section 5. Article 5 is see the town vote change for streets and sidewalks regulations, and I copied it down the way I got it. I would recommend that in the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth sentence, that you just strike due to improper or fully, or improperly filled and compacted restoration of the hole.
So just
And
instead.
just ended it settling, because I really don't care why it settled.
Okay.
Somebody should come back, and then you could get into a dispute over what's poorly filled and improper.
Agreed.
And rather than have that as a wild card, that's my opinion.
You guys have any problem with that?
I didn't know really that much about this, then this was a VIN thing that makes sense to me.
And one other question I guess I have, cash security. What is that exactly?
Well, we used to take, the old days, used to take passbooks. Right now, they would have to submit a check, and we would either hold it or cash it. I guess we'd cash it, and it's awkward.
It is.
How do you do it now, bonds?
Yeah.
No, we do,
No.
well, with the solar places, we do cash security.
Okay, well, then we
Yeah.
must.
Escrow?
Right into the treasurer.
Yeah, I guess we have a track record then.
Yeah.
I'm not
It goes
familiar,
right to
but-
the treasurer and she holds the cash, and they hold it for 20 years. And they're supposed to be adding to it every year as well. So they do that, so, cause if you, do a bond, if you, you know, you're in business, if someone calls in a bond, you know, $5,000 worth of legal fees, like, you
Right.
try to get your money.
How about is it like a bank check? Something that is actual cash value? I mean, there's got to be stipulations there, right?
It's
Cash.
count
Well,
against
cash
the
or bank,
contractor.
cash or a bank check.
Cash it, and we put it in a fund.
Oh,
And put
okay.
it in an account.
The
All right.
accountant
You
holds
did already
it.
say that once, I guess.
Yeah, cash is cash, yeah.
All right.
Cash is good.
Yeah.
Cash
Yeah,
is
we don't, then there's no argument where you're gonna get the money.
True.
You have the money, you can spend it.
No suit.
Well, I wouldn't.
Now,
say
the only
that.
question about deleting the sentence is, what does it mean to us the way we voted?
Well, we
We
actually.
can leave it. It's just
No,
a
I don't wanna leave
recommendation.
it. I'd like
Yeah.
to clean it up because I think your point is appropriate, but I'm just looking back at what we did to get here. Do we have to do anything over again?
Have you had your public hearing on,
No, but this is what the public hearing is gonna say. So what does that mean?
so
All
you
right,
could
but you can
discuss
change
it
it
at
at
your
the public hearing. Yeah, you can
Change
change
the
it.
public hearing?
recommend to change it, and if you decide you wanna change it, it can always be changed on the floor, just delete that.
Well, we could change it at the public hearing.
Can we?
When is the public hearing, cause these are gonna be printed out probably
Next
before
Wednesday.
then, they'll be printed
The 4th.
that day, yeah,
Isn't it the 4th?
I gave you the
we gotta.
copy of it. I gave it to you, Brian.
You know what,
By
let's
the
leave it
fifth.
alone. You can amend it on the floor if
Yeah.
you want to.
Okay.
Just think about it.
Good
Let's leave it
suggestion.
alone. Let's leave it alone. I didn't want to cause a problem. It's just,
No, it's a good
that's the
suggestion.
kind of thing where you'd see litigation.
Yep.
Article 6, I don't have any wording yet, Tom. You know that, right?
Right,
So-
well, the wording is probably correct. The town attorney would probably have to just word it correctly. There's a bit of a problem here with this, aquifer map by places. That's not what we voted on at our planning board meeting. We voted on to use the most current GIS map.
Oh.
Well, I don't understand, and this is just me, I don't understand what this article is trying to do, so if you,
Well,
if
in
there's a lot more wording, then you gotta help me
Well,
maybe.
Okay, currently on the zoning bylaws, Article 2, well, let me go back, further. On the aquifer bylaw, okay, which is 6 or 7 or whatever it is, it says the aquifer area is per the aquifer map as shown in definitions, Article 2 of the zoning bylaw. So we go back to the zoning, Article 2 of the zoning bylaw, and it says the aquifer map is this. It's a map, 1988 map that we just found, right? We just found that map. Okay, and it's not particularly clear or accurate, and if you looked how it was made, we don't really know how it was made. But the planning board felt it would be better to use the most current GIS map system, which is the state standard for aquifers. And it's updated periodically by the state and federal government, so it's always current. Plus, anyone doing any design work, engineering work, they typically will go and use a GIS map instead of calling Joyce and say, hey, do you have a copy of that map? Or
Yep.
trying to look online. So we're trying to streamline it, so make it easier for people to do business in Hubbardston, but also having the most current, accurate information all the time.
Okay.
Coming into the 21st century.
So we're at the impasse is that we're trying to figure out how to say that.
No, the area shown on the Hubbardston maps, but you wanna use the one that's been prepared by Places Associates.
Well, I don't know where that came from. What we voted at our meeting last
That's what
time was to use the most local GIS map. And when I get this,
How much time do we have to come back with you with different words?
None.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
what do you need? You need to have a meeting?
Tomorrow what time?
Well, you can't have a meeting.
We can't have a meeting, but we could review our notes.
Well, here's what I'll tell you what, this is what Tom gave me, and I'll tell you what, take it back and then
Did
mark
Vince
it up.
come in with anything?
I'm sorry?
No,
Did
Vince
Vince-
forgot when he went on vacation, he forgot to give it to us, so. Well, the other problem we
It was this
have.
one, it was the, I took what I could
Yeah.
off the ad for the Gardner, for the zoning for the bylaw change.
Well, this is the other problem, I think. We can't, this is what we submitted for
Yeah,
for the,
Hearing.
hearing. So we really can't change that. We have to write exactly what's on here on the warrant, and then we can,
Well, those
Change
words
it
that
to
are
town.
there were my best attempt to take it off
No,
out of
I-
that map,
I
so
don't
if you-
know that
I mean, out of
that's
that ad.
true, but
can you change something at a public hearing to reflect what's gonna be on the actual warrant? Or do you have to stay with it?
Why would you have the public hearing if you couldn't change something?
Well, I don't know.
right,
I don't know
well,
the answer to that.
I mean, the public hearing is going to be about that discussion, that subject,
We'd have to be precinct.
but you can, I would think, you could change at the public hearing, what you're gonna do, I mean, it's essentially the same.
As long as everyone knows what we're discussing.
You want the map to be described.
We
That
can always change
essentially,
it on the
what this,
floor,
what
too.
this was doing was just changing the map that they're referring to.
Yep.
Currently, they're referring to one map, they wanted to refer to this new map, is how I understood it,
That's
but now
exactly right.
Tom is saying they wanna refer to the most recent GIS map, whatever that may
So it
be at
wouldn't,
the
it
time.
wouldn't say, right, it would just say the most recent GIS map
Exactly.
available.
Yes,
That sounds like another floor thing, to me.
We can do it on the floor.
Just cause then wouldn't we have to approve a revised warrant if they changed it at the public hearing?
They'd have to change it to what you put
Yeah.
here, so you'd be changing it tonight, and that's uncomfortable for two
That
members
is-
to say, so.
It's a little-
Yeah.
right.
Let it
You
stay,
can't really do that.
help me with, just, meet tomorrow, get together, I don't know, don't
I'll
meet,
write it-
don't
I can
meet,
give you-
I
don't
can
meet
give you
tomorrow.
the rest of
Scratch that.
Basically, it's like, on that, wherever that article is, in number 2, to say, delete,
Delete the current definition and put in the new definition,
Put
I
in
can
the-
give you that.
Okay,
Then
then,
it's all-
as
it's
long as
done.
Kimmy gives me that tomorrow,
I'll
or
give you that
for
in
Wednesday,
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Changes, that
Right.
I'm suggesting.
and then we'll just leave it with that map, and then we'll change it at the town meeting floor to make it the most current
Yeah,
GIS map.
Tom, I don't know what that says, but at your meeting, that's what you said, that you wanted the most recent GIS
Right.
mapping,
Right, yeah, that's,
and that was.
I don't know where that came from, but.
Alright, we'll figure it out.
Okay, no, we can work that out. 7, 8, and 9, I don't have anything yet, but I'm working with Danielle. She had an unfortunate family, it was a death in the family. So it's gotten a little convoluted, but we're gonna make this work for her, and I said I'd help, so.
Okay, thanks.
Article 10, we put it on just the way they wrote it. So,
What is that?
You want me to read
so
it to you?
this is
Yeah, they
something
wanna
the planning
change-
board has to get involved in too, because it's
Public
a
hearing.
recommended
zoning
change to the zoning bylaw.
We have to have a
So-
public hearing.
We have to have a public hearing, we got this today.
Yeah, so I don't know what
They
happens, if
wanna
you
go to
don't
work.
hold the public hearing, I don't know what happens, because you still have to allow a petition to go forward. My sense is that you would let this go onto the warrant, because it's been petitioned by a sufficient number of people, and then recommend no action at town meeting because they failure to have a public hearing. Does that make sense to you?
Well, we probably could have, we could
Yeah,
fit
you
in a
may
public
still
hearing.
have time.
We have time.
Well,
then.
if you do, you do, if you don't.
Did they have 100 signatures?
You had 102.
111,
102 that got verified.
Wow.
they just made it.
Does it have to be reviewed by town council?
No, well,
It can be, and he might opine that it's
you
not,
can't change
don't
the-
do it, but you can't change it.
Who put it together? Who's the,
I can let you see the petition.
we don't know anything about it.
Never heard of it, but
Yeah.
I'd like to see the petition.
Yeah, well, it just came in today, so.
We just submit.
They're moving it to zoning or to a.
Solar
zone
overlay district,
Yeah.
solar systems over,
Over a certain
150.
size.
Somebody did. I was just talking about that.
I think Barry did it.
Doing my best.
So we should
Okay, yeah,
really
phone
think
say, I
about
gotta go
doing a
home.
public hearing.
How big's yours?
We have 3 weeks, we need
12,000.
3 weeks to do a public hearing.
actually, 7.5,
So we're pretty close.
7.5.
And doesn't the public hearing have to be
But
within
it'll
a
put out
certain time
12,000.
frame of the town meeting?
It could be the same day,
Oh,
putting
can be?
it in. You can have the public hearing, right at.
Okay, so yeah, we can work on that, or you can work on that.
Having a public hearing before the town meeting.
Well, we can have,
Well, for the
Yeah.
purposes of tonight, you don't have any choice anyways. This has to go
Right.
on just the way it was, and hopefully I got it just the way they said it.
All right.
And if you didn't, I tried.
Now, who has to pay for the public hearing advertisements and stuff? Do we have to end up paying, or do they have to pay for that?
Who normally pays for it?
Well, like if the planning board makes a change, like this one here that we did,
Yep,
we pay for it because we're the ones recommending it, but a petition, I don't know who.
Meaning you paid for it, like paid to
Democracy.
advertise it?
We pay to
Yeah.
advertise, someone has to pay to advertise it, if a petition comes in from an individual person, does the town still have to?
I would assume the planning board would
Yeah,
have to pay.
I think the planning board has to
So do we
pay.
have to
It's just
pay it?
democracy.
Yeah,
Pesky little devil. Democracy thing, I don't know.
So I'll ask Patty to do the preparation.
Okay, so, if you could, we'd like to get a vote on the warrant as proposed or submitted, and knowing that it's still going through iterations.
Sure.
So I'll make a motion to approve the warrant as proposed.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Yes?
Okay,
Yes.
can I get signatures
Yes.
on that page? And then, the second item, is, by the way, I recognize that there's a misspelling on submitted, it has the number 6 in it, and I know that that's not
Oh,
supposed to be.
embarrassing.
This, that I'm passing out is the, you should have one at your place. This is the ballot question that ran last time for the senior center, and we think, subject to changing some dates, it's just fine the way it is. So we'd ask you to vote to hold a special election on November 7th.
I'm just gonna read it real quick, okay?
Yeah, well, of course. But this one went through town council review,
Yep,
so
I remember.
we
so Lori, I would need to have this question, signed with today's date on it.
by the board. No,
Do you,
okay.
So Brian could.
with a
we
letter
could-
to me from the selectmen or from,
Do you have this electronic then?
I sent it to you.
Okay, well then I'll, you know what, I'll stay, so we get it out of here, cause I'm not here tomorrow, and, there's no reason to hold us up a day, so.
So, do we, I can't remember last time, did we have, both in favor and opposed
Yep.
Yes,
that's it.
larger ones, though?
larger,
Mm.
in
Longer?
which respect?
Longer, yeah, or was it
Mhm.
just this? It was just this, a yes, no?
This was the last, vote for the senior center.
Okay.
Some of the other ones had longer arguments.
Yeah.
Some of the other questions that we had,
Okay, that's probably what I'm remembering then.
yeah, cause this is the last time we actually voted on this at a ballot.
Wow. Cause we pulled it last time.
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so we need to vote?
We need to vote to hold a special election on the 7th of November,
So-
with one ballot question and as proposed.
So I'll make the motion to hold a special election.
Do you wanna read that just for
On
the,
November 7th.
Read this?
the question?
Sure.
Yeah, you're the keeper of
Question one,
signed.
well, there's a motion on the table.
Yep.
Is there a second?
Yeah, second that.
Okay, discussion, so, this is, how it would look, dates changed. Question one, shall the town of Hubbardston be allowed to exempt from the positions of Proposition 2 1/2, so-called, the amounts required to pay for the bond issued in order to construct a new senior center facility and to purchase any related equipment, including all costs incidental and related thereto, and
Probably
There-
don't have to read the rest.
Yep.
I just want people to know what it is you're voting on, cause I'm not sure you really,
Yeah, and then every
said that.
reference there, I think, is gonna change to October 24th, 2017 special town meeting.
okay, and then, so, it just goes on to explain what the yes means, which would be building a senior center, and explains what a no means, and that's not building a senior center. So, any further discussion? No? All in favor? Yes?
Yes.
Okay,
That's it.
all right, is there anyone here for open session, or any press or public questions? No? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
So do you
Second.
consider having
Discussion, all in favor?
received the, I
Yes.
can make you a copy of what
56.
they gave Joyce.